Hello and welcome to Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Well, the Sopranos, beware. Pope Francis has excommunicated mafiosi who claim faith in Catholicism but follow the path of evil. The pontiff speaking to mafia victims in the southern Italian district of Calabria. What does his comments say about the mob's future and the Pope's role in society? Joining me now is Father Robert Sirico. He's the president of the Action Institute and a religious commentator on economic, political, and social issues. Welcome, Father.
Good to be with you.
Well, you know, like, the Pope is telling the mafia, leave your path of evil or be excommunicated. I mean, is the mafia really listening to this?
Well, of course they're not listening to this. They wouldn't be murdering people if they were listening to the words of the Pope. But I think it's a technical distinction has to be made here. He is acknowledging the fact that they have excommunicated themselves from the church. He hasn't excommunicated them from the church. There's a distinction in canon law between late sententiae excommunication, which is automatic for a variety of grave sins, and the more formal. He didn't do the more formal. He just acknowledges, look, you're really not Catholics.
Yeah, you're just saying, because you're doing such evil, you've excommunicated yourself. What it actually technically means to be excommunicated?
It means you're cut off from the sacraments of the church. You can't be involved in the leadership of the church. You can't go to Holy Communion. That's why we hear this debate in a lot of other political circumstances. And here the Pope is really kind of acknowledging this in the circumstance of the Mafia. Remember, too, the backdrop of this is Italy has become increasingly more secular, and that has impacted the secularity of the Mafia so that they don't have the kind of dramatic religious ties that they might have had at one time to the church, the more stuff of which movies are made.
Well, this might answer the next question, because let's look at the numbers. The Mafia-related homicides in Italy are actually down 80% from 1992 to 2012, and they account for about 10 to 15% of all murders. So why is the Pope addressing this now? Why is the Mafia on his agenda?
Well, this particular thing resulted from a really heinous crime where a man who was wanted by the Mafia would go out, and he'd always take one of his grandchildren with him, knowing that the Mafia wouldn't hurt the child. Well, in fact, they did. They killed both of them and then burned the car. And the Pope, who was going to Calabria, this was on the minds of everybody, he kind of entered the debate. I don't think it's wise for the Pope to do it at the same time that he's talking about downgrading his security and not wanting to live in a bubble, wanting to be close to the people.
Yeah, that's part of his persona, too. Let me read what the Pope said exactly. He said, "I wish to express my solidarity with those who have lost a loved one as a victim of Mafia violence. I feel that I cannot finish without saying a word to those who are absent today, to the protagonists, to the men and women of the Mafia. Power, the money you have now from your many dirty dealings, from your many Mafia crimes, is blood money. It is power that is stained with blood, and you will not be able to take it with you to the next life. Repent, there is still time, so as not to end up in hell." Is the Mafia still connected to the Catholic Church enough that it will listen to this? The members will actually listen to what the Pope is saying?
You know, it's hard for me to believe that they would be. I mean, these people are not going to Mass on a regular basis. They're certainly not going to the confession on a regular basis. So I can't, in what sense? Maybe in a kind of cultural sense, they have crucifixes in their homes. But this is having an appearance of godliness, but really repudiating the power of Christianity. So you have that reality.
Yeah, you know, we sort of romanticized the Mafia. We've got the Godfather, the Sopranos TV show,
right.
Of course, Goodfellas. You know, this has just become this sort of romantic vision of the Mafia. But the reality is what?
The reality is that a lot of groups that ethnically were very reverential to the church and had that kind of tangential connection to the church have lost all sense of that. I mean, it's difficult to be living a life where you're murdering children and still have some kind of emotional affection for the Catholic Church. I mean, the Pope in this circumstance is acting as a pastor. He is comforting those who are grieving the loss and are horrified and terrified by what's going on with the Mafia, but he's also, in a very strong way, inviting the conversion of these people who are involved in these heinous crimes to repent of their sins and to avoid the fires of hell. And isn't it interesting, you know, people like to paint Francis as this kind of weak, you know, very gentle guy, and he is very gentle. But he can deliver when he needs to deliver the words of truth. And remember, it's out of love that he's doing it. The penalty of excommunication in the Catholic Church is intended as a medicinal remedy. That is like strong medicine to get people to realize the error of what they're doing and the potential disaster that they face in eternity.
Yeah, he is really calling them to repent. He's not calling them
Yes.
to, you know, go to hell. He's actually saying...
He's not wanting them to go to hell,
Yeah.
just the opposite.
All right. Father Robert Sirico, thank you very much from the Acton Institute, talking about the Pope and the Mafia. Thank you very much for being on A Spirited
Good
Debate.
being with you again, Lauren.
Bye-bye.